a very brief press statement that will be read by Henry Costa, the chairperson of the Council of Patriots. Thank you. Costa.
Thank you very much, members of the Fourth Estate, Honorable Yeke Koluba, founding member of the COP, Mrs. L. Louis Gale, a member of the COP, and Mr. Mo Ali. We're all COP members here. Statement of the Council of Patriots, July 12, 2019. Renewing our pledge to save the state. Fellow Liberians, dear fellow compatriots, members of the press. On June 9th, 2019, barely 2 days after we collectively staged the most successful protest in contemporary Liberian history, we announced a 1-month suspension of activities to offer our government the opportunity to join us in our determination to save our nation. The period of 1 month has expired, and in spite of a public commitment to engage in dialogue, our government has engaged in tactics to ridicule, ignore, and further neglect its solemn pledge to serve the Liberian people with honesty, dedication, and integrity. We note that some of our compatriots have expressed their disagreements with our methods, approaches, and activities. But while we agree to disagree, we want to assure you that our movement remains strong and united on the excruciating pains and sufferings affecting our nation and people. As we wait for the demands of our petition to be addressed, President George Weah and his clan continue to indulge in some of the most unspeakable violations of human rights, engage in a wanton abuse and disregard of the public trust, and expand the Weah enterprise. The blatant insult and neglect of the Liberian people can be seen on a daily basis when President Weah refuses to publicly declare his assets and have them verified, when President Weah and his clan remain insensitive to the daily sufferings of Liberians as he engages in lavish spending on foreign trips, as in the case of the recent state visit to the Republic of Guinea, where more than 155,000 United States dollars is being expended. When the recent budget presented to the National Legislature offers better living conditions to the rich rather than improve the lives of the poor, when the 16 billion missing Liberian dollars cannot be accounted for, when the $25 million remains a mystery undergoing several phony investigations in order to shield his beloved Samuel Twe, Governor Petrie, and others. When donors' monies are diverted on unilateral conditions, when President Weah plans to retire Central Bank Governor Nathaniel Petrie with an amount of 500,000 United States dollars package as a reward for helping to deplete our reserve and disorganizing our financial sector. When the police can shoot live bullets into protesters in Kingsville, when our courts offer no justice and protection for the weak, and now when President Weah and his clan plan to throw lavish parties and organize wasteful ceremonies on July 26 while Liberians weep over the dismal socio-economic decline of our country. Fellow Liberians, we can all see an unrepentant dictatorship on the rise and the emergence of the Weah clan, where every business, every contract is linked to President Weah and his cronies. This is unacceptable. We call on all patriotic Liberians to reflect for a moment on our country. Look at yourself in the mirror. Look in the eyes of your children, especially our girls who suffer on a daily basis. Take a walk and look around our streets and neighborhoods and how filth mirrors the heart of our leaders. Look at our clinics and hospitals in neglect. Look at our schools without hope and promise. Companies are laying workers off left and right, and we doesn't care. We are a nation in peril. Liberia and Liberians deserve better. Today, we, members of the Council of Patriots, announce a renewed and continued protest from Wednesday, July 24th, until all of our demands are met. This will be a nationwide protest covering all counties and a call to address all of the issues affecting our country. In announcing these actions, we renew our pledge to save the state and call on all Liberians and our international partners to join this long march to address the plight of our nation. All Liberians at home and abroad, irrespective of religion and political persuasion, must stand with us to save our nation. I thank you.
Question? A few of them.
Onita Roberts, ELBC Women Let's Talk. Costa, you mentioned about our women and girls. I'm quite interested. I know you're out there, and just give me some specific, like, what has been bothering you lately? I know what's been bothering me, but you and the COP. As far as our women and girls are concerned, what has been bothering the COP that's not being done for our women and girls in Liberia? What is on your agenda for women and girls?
I think we're all very concerned about the case of, there are several cases, some of which have come to the fore. Vivian George, whose mother I've interviewed before, she was clearly, visibly raped and murdered, and the police promised her family that they would do an autopsy, and it's been many months and nothing has happened. The case of Odell Sherman, those circumstances somewhat, they need to be clarified, and we're not sure whether they are committed to doing that. But there are lots of cases, little children, little girls getting raped, or their bodies being found with parts extracted. We think much more needs to be done. Safe houses that used to be, when Mrs. Ali was in power, that used to be open, where those rape victims or gender-based violence victims would be removed from their communities where they were victimized and placed in those safe houses and given some counseling and rehabilitation. And those houses have all been closed, as we've been told. And while the funds are being given to the president to support his lavish lifestyle. So those are some of the issues we are concerned about. And so to answer your question, and please, Honorable Yeke Koluba will also take questions, so you can feel free to ask him questions.
No, I will talk to the president, sir.
Okay. All right, fine.
Yeah, my name is Pius Twed. I want to know this time around, you people demand from government representative before you can present your statement this time around, the pending protest that you are talking about?
We're not presenting a petition statement beginning July 24th when we assemble. We've already presented one. We're doing a follow-up action to know why the president has refused to begin to deliver on our petition statement. That's what we're doing. And we want to ensure that we don't have an Independence Day celebration here. We will be turning 172 years. What do we have to be proud of to celebrate? The press secretary to the president has announced that 5 heads of state have consented to come to Liberia to attend the celebrations. What are we celebrating? What are you celebrating? High inflation rate, 28% food inflation, 23% general inflation. People are struggling. Hospitals are down. They hardly have drugs. No fuel. The government is essentially dysfunctional. Lawmakers have not received their salaries and their gasoline and their district funds for many, many months. Everybody is crying. Yet the president hops on a private jet to Guinea at a whopping cost of $155,000. You want to throw a big Independence Day celebration? We think is unacceptable.
So are you going to draw the protest towards the Independence Day?
That's correct. We will begin protesting on July 24th. We will not stop until, if the president wants to throw his big party, he has to deliver on our demands and then reduce the size of his celebration. And then that's it. 2 things. Stop the big Independence Day program. Give the money to Redemption Hospital, Go to Phoebe, give the money, reactivate those safe houses for that used to be there to shelter victims of gender-based violence and rape. Do those things. Put the money where your mouth is. The president of Tanzania, John Magufuli, flies commercial. The richest president in Africa is Cyril Ramaphosa. He's worth $500 million. He has a private jet. But because he's president of South Africa, he parks his jet and flies commercial. The president of the fourth poorest country in the world, everywhere he travels, he flies a private jet. This level of insensitivity is unacceptable. And so we are protesting against that. That's to answer your question.
Those not as many are report for Power TV. There are some who have heavily believed that your action threatened the peace of Nigeria. What do you say?
Do you still believe that Coco story, my dear brother? What we did on June 7th, the whole world congratulated us. Did you all not publish or read the commendations that were flowing in from all over the world for the peaceful conduct? You know why we were peaceful? You know why nothing happened? Because the police were not trigger happy that day. We conducted ourselves in a peaceable manner. We were celebrating. It was as if we were having a carnival, a street carnival in this town. And the protest to come beginning July 24th will be no different than what it was. So leave that story about disrupting the peace. We are peaceful people. We will be peaceful.
You are somebody who
let's
is
take
very
the other
clean.
man.
Yeah, I'm from Farfina TV. My concern, it has to do with if you are saying you are a truly patron for this country, why can't you just wait a minute until our Independence Day passes?
Let me tell you something. When we're fighting the war in this country, did we celebrate independence? Why didn't we? Because we were in difficult times. Are we in normal times today?
No.
Are people not dying in the country? Are hospitals not shutting down? What is about independence? President Donald Trump threw a big lavish Independence Day. The U.S. economy is doing so well. Unemployment is at a national average of 4%. In some states, even lower. He spent millions of dollars for his program and people are complaining. The mayor of the city of Washington, D.C. spoke out and said the program drained the coffers of the security fund for D.C. $1.7 million. If the capital city of the greatest country on the face of the earth can complain about wasteful spending, what more about this country, my dear brother? So we don't need a massive Independence Day celebration. Use the money for Phoebe. Use the money for redemption. Use the money for safe houses and to fast track prosecution for perpetrators of rape and gender-based violence in this country.
Okay, Costa.
Have you contacted
Two more
the
questions
police
after this.
Two more questions.
as to whether you will be allowed or not? The
No.
police or the justice
My dear brother, when we called the first protest, they wanted to play their theatrics with us. They said that we will not register, so we will not protest. We ignored them. The same police came to the table. They cooperated with us. We will write them on Monday to inform them. And we are not asking for permit. The law says we should notify the security authority so that they may provide security for us to protest. So we will send a letter out on Monday. Don't worry about that. We will.
Okay, Costa.
So, yes,
Let me ask you this question. I'm Jefferson Tegi. I will do for Librarian New Agency. Who did you hand deliver for your petition?
We hand deliver our petition to an employee of the Ministry of State sent by Minister Nathaniel F. McGill, Minister of State. He called us and acknowledged receipt of the petition statement. So the government has had it since June the 9th. We read it out. June the 10th on our Monday, they received the petition statement. It was delivered by Mr. Muhammad Ali, who is standing right next to you.
Okay, we know the name of the individual who received it for you.
Vera Parker received it, signed for it. Minister McGill confirmed receipt of it. So they've had it for 1 month.
Costa, what will you resolve to next if the government refuses to allow you to protest?
We will continue to protest. We will not stop until we get results for our people, for all of us.
Okay,
You
so,
included.
Costa.
Just the last question.
The last question.
Yes, sir. From what I do believe, the government are saying, workers of the government, that the essence of the protest is trying to prove how peaceful this present government is. What's your own take concerning that?
It is the people that keep the peace. It is not the government. When we gathered that day, Reuters News put us at 20,000. Al Jazeera said 15,000. They had a handful of police officers. They had to bring DEA and immigration people and to come beef up the police. If we were bent on making trouble, we would have made trouble. But we didn't want to make trouble. So we are the keepers of the peace. The people of this country who are sitting by and watching this corrupt president enrich himself at their expense. We are the keepers of this country, the peace of this country. When Samuel Twe and others play in $25 million and they're doing fully investigations and no one has been prosecuted, we are the peacekeepers of this country, not George Weah. George Weah and his clan of chiefs, on the other hand, they are the threat to peace in this country by their actions of brazen thievery, violation of the law, violation of the Constitution, usurpation of the powers of lawmakers, and witch hunting a sitting representative, Honorable Yeke Koluba. They are the ones who are provoking the people of this country. But we will maintain the peace, but we will not put our rights under our feet and step on it.
Thank you.
The last question from Josiah.
I'm Josiah from KMTV. The president has called for round table. Why don't you wait for the round table before we renew protest?
The president announced an economic round table. We encouraged it. We did not call for a dialogue to discuss the country's economy. The government in power is the one that's charged with responsibility to fix the economy. There is no country in the world where when the economy is doing badly, they call for a peace talk to go and discuss the economy. You have roundtable discussions when there's a political crisis in the country. The president wanted to divert our attention from the real issue. The economy is the real issue. Yes, I agree. The violation of the laws, the witch hunt, the jamming of our radio station, those are all real issues. Since the president announced his so-called economic roundtable, he has not written the COP. They have not called Honorable Yeke Koluba. In fact, they are bringing Trump up charges against him. They are witch hunting us. They've increased their jamming of our radio station. They've done all sorts of things. The COP is not interested in going to the table and affording President Weah an opportunity to take picture and make himself look like a peacemaker. We want the president to deliver. If the president wants to fix the economy, he should replace Samuel Twe, replace Nathaniel Petre, because they are incompetent. You're a journalist. You all are aware that when a country's economy is doing badly, the president fires everybody. Are you not aware of that? He dismisses the entire economic management team. But George Weah, they are here ride and die buddies. So they will all go down together. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mo Ali was saying electronic copies. Mo Ali has electronic copies. He'll send to everybody. Now, I don't want to buy your water.